Hi everyone, in this video we are going to play action and then slow it down with a speed ramp. Whoa, look at that. Okay, and then back to playing normal. These are the little speed ramps. The actual term's called time remapping. Let's work out how to do it now in Premiere Pro. Okay, so for this one, I want a sequence that's 25 frames per second. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to go sequence. I want a brand new one. I don't want to use my 03 because it's at a different frame rate. I could and then change it afterwards to 25 frames per second, but hey, we'll do it a different way this way. It is hard to find where all the kind of basic stuff is. I wish there was just like a generic bin of video sizes, but hey, you got to dig around. Probably the best one at the moment is red. This changes often. Let's have a look in here. At the moment, red is giving me the 1080p, which I want, and I want 25 frames per second. Okay, I'm going to call this one, they call it a speed ramp as well as time remapping. So speed ramp, and I'm going to put my slow motion in it. I'm going to keep the existing settings. It's having a problem because this one here is set to, 100 frames per second. So it's going, hey, I'm a different frame rate. That's okay. We want you to be a different frame rate. We want all the slow motion goodness. So to see it all, let's hit our backspace key. Okay, and we want to zoom in. So hit, Command plus to zoom in on the video, or just hit Shift plus to zoom on everything. And when I said Command there, I forgot. PC people, you are a Control plus. Okay, but the best one is Shift plus because it's right for everybody. Maybe go in even more. Let's do the old draggy way. I wanted to see a lot of detail in here. So you can use the time remapping over here. It is really painful to use in the effects control. Okay, so I want to do it down here on my rubber band. At the moment, the rubber band is showing me the opacity. Okay, I don't want that. I want to right click, go all the way to the bottom and say show clip frames, time remapping. Show me speed, please. Okay, so where are we going to do it? We're going to put in 2 keyframes kind of like before and just after the throw. Okay, because I want to slow that down. So just before is about there. I hold the Command key down on my Mac, Control key on a PC, and just click the rubber band. So that's the kind of beginning part. We need to do it just the end here. Same key down and click it again. Cool, so I've got 2 points. Now what I want to do is drag it up or down. Okay, down to slow it down and up to speed it up. So I don't want to speed it up. Let's have a look. For my flip, you might want to. Okay, I'm going to drag it down. Okay, drag it down. In my case, because I got 100 frames per second, I can drag it down to about 25%. Okay, because it matches my 25 frames per second. There you go. You can drag it up. You can drag it way past that. You can go down to 1%, I think is the lowest. Okay, but there's my one there. You'll notice that the audio has become unstuck. It's part of the process. Okay, it doesn't speed it up for you. So what we're going to do is just mute it for the moment, and we'll come back to it. Okay, so it's slowed down nicely. Okay, and what I need to do now is, at the moment it's very sudden. It goes fast, 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 and just stops, and then same at the end there. Okay, it's up to you the look you want. If you want to kind of ramp it in, okay, that's where the speed ramp comes from, is hold nothing down and just start dragging these things around. They're a bit weird to drag, okay, and you want to drag it so that you can see something like this. Okay, so they're kind of separated apart and you've got to ramp in and out. So now you're going to have to play around with like the timing. There's a lot to do with timing, okay, how far these ramps are apart and how close they are together. So in my case at the moment, I'm highly unlikely to get it right the first time. That's not bad. Okay, but there's a lot of dragging these around. So to drag these anchor points around, or these, I want to call them keyframes, is can you see if I hover in between? See the little double arrow? Okay, I can drag them around. If they're not opened up, let's add one over here, you can't do that. Okay, they just kind of start separating. You can hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC just to physically move them. But once they're open like this, you just hover in the middle. You can adjust this one. They'll both adjust. They're really weird to get used to. Okay, you start dragging them. I'm keeping my eye up here. Okay. The end point. Takes a lot of kind of just dragging around, practicing. How do I feel about that? That's pretty good. It never goes that way. Like there's so much to do with timing for this thing, you know, there's no like, hey, drag it to this percentage and this far apart. There's so much of like personal preference to get it looking good. So if you spend 5 minutes dragging these around, it's totally okay. Also, you can do is click anywhere in between them. You'll notice that these handles, okay, appear out of these little anchor points, and you can kind of adjust, because at the moment it's ramping, but it's very linear. So I'm going to zoom in some more, plus, 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 okay, and I'm going to drag the top one left or right. Left is what you want to drag it. You want to try and get it to smooth over, okay, and this other one here, click in between and drag that one to the right. There's only one way to drag them. You'll work it out. It just kind of ramps in a little bit nicer. Okay, I'm going to zoom out, minus, minus, minus. Let's have a little look. It's hard to tell once you've ramped it. I do it every time, but here you go. Now, what you might find is there's a lot of artifacts happening in the slow motion. At the moment, mine looks okay. Frame by frame, I'm going left and right with my arrow. It's looking okay, okay? You might find there's a lot worse stuff, especially in the ramps, okay? And that's where you can click on it, right click it, play around with your speed duration, and play around with frame sampling, frame blending, or optical flow. Okay, you might find one is better than the other. Okay, mine's looking fine on all of them. The other thing to do as well is, can you see mine's gone red with optical flow, so I need to render it. Okay, so I can get like a genuine kind of preview of how this is going to look. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, and what else? Audio. So audio down here is being detached. Okay, it's still kind of selected. Okay, I want to ungroup them and adjust them. So let's do it. There's a few different ways we've shown. Let's do it this way. Let's right click it and go the full blown unlink you forever. Okay, and I'm going to use my razor tool, C on my keyboard. Okay, it's that one there. And I'm going to say, cut that off there and cut it off there where I start talking again. Okay, and I'm just going to bang that at the end so that it lines up with my talkie. Let's open this up. Hello. So, and I didn't really say anything during the spin. I was pretending to be all casual, but you can see that's the face of a man who's really trying to catch it. How many takes did I do on that one? I can't remember. I think I did okay. So if you have dialogue though that's going on, it might be an action shot of somebody, it might be a car going past. You've got a couple of things you can do. You can stretch it out. Okay, you can use the rate stretch tool. We looked at that. It's the R key on my keyboard, and just drag the end and just go zoop, and it's gonna slow it down. Okay, I got nothing really going on, so let me show you a bit. I'm gonna copy and paste this. Imagine that was happening during the slow motion. R key for my rate stretch tool, and I stretch it all out. I'm gonna get all gianty. Okay, so if you do that and you need it to work, okay, what you might try and do is right click and go to, where is it? Speed duration, and try and go to maintain audio pitch. Is it better? It's just different. Listen. Hello. It does sound a lot like me, more like me. So that's one thing you might do. All right, are you ready for the next thing? The next thing is going to melt your brain. It melts my brain every time. It's how to play things in reverse. So I'm just going to use the same sequence, but I'm going to have a fresh copy of my clip. So I'm going to get it to play through. Let's mute that again. Play it through and then play backwards again. Okay, you might be doing something more exciting with action shots or something. Whatever you're doing, you need it to play in reverse. Not the whole thing, right? You need it because if you just want it to play in reverse, right click. Speed duration, play backwards, and now it's just going to play the whole thing in reverse from start to beginning. If your machine can keep up, mine's struggling. It's not what I want to do, so I've undone it. I want to get to a point and use all that funny fun ramp stuff that we learned earlier to play it in reverse. So I'm going to get to kind of here. There's a lot of shortcuts when it comes to speed ramping. You might be like, oh man, I scribbled so many notes. Yeah, that's the way they've done it. There's not a lot of control over here. So to play in reverse, we need to change this again. Okay, new clip. So we need to say U down the bottom here, show clip keyframes, time remapping, speed. Okay, I'm going to click my command key on a Mac, control key on a PC to click there. Okay, the difference here is instead of having a second one, what you do is you hold that key down again. So command on a Mac, control key on a PC. Okay, and start dragging to the right, which seems counterintuitive. You want to play backwards and you want to go this way. It doesn't work. The icon's very clear. Can you see it's, well, very clear. It's got a kind of a double arrow backwards thing. Drag it to the right, and you get all this stuff, and you're like, oh my goodness, what is all of that? So, playing normal, 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 then it's going to start playing in reverse from here. Okay, that's where the backwards is. Okay, and then this part here, it's catching back up, because it's been playing in reverse for a bit, and now we're back to where we started, which is this point. So this point, and watch, this point is exactly the same. Here it plays backwards. Here it's playing forwards, but catching up to where we left off. There, does that make sense? Let's play it actually, Dan, come on. I didn't pick a good point to play in reverse. So I'm going to undo that. I want to go something there. So practice again, Command key, Control key, hold that same key down, drag it to the right. There we go. Fun. So that's how you do it in reverse. Again, you can do the ramps again. So just holding nothing down, just separate them apart. You can play with how they ease in, how they ease out. But don't worry. If you find it very hard to work out how all this goes, well, let's try. So that's playing in reverse. You can actually play with the speed in here as well. Okay, we just played it fully in reverse. So, and now I've done it so that it's playing a slow-mo in reverse, and your machine's going to freak out. Okay, and you're going to go, because if I hit my enter key, it's going to render the effects. Okay, so I'm going to go to sequence and say render into out, which is my entire sequence. Even this yellow stuff, because Premiere Pro is like, hey, I don't need to render that because it's working fine. It should work fine. You just saw mine jumping away, so we need to go and render it. Or turn down our kind of resolution, playback resolution to something lower. I'll stop that. That is how to do speed ramping in Premiere Pro. You're probably gonna have to watch that a couple of times, note down a few of the shortcuts, practice a bit, play with the timing, and you too can have, I don't know, weird, throwy, spinny awesomeness. I'm thinking more action shot. I don't know. I want to see rally cars and drift cars and skateboard jumps. Actually, that's what's going to be your practice in the very next video.